Good morning. Today in this session we are going to discuss about a very interesting topic, that is corrosion. Here we are going to see what is corrosion, how it happens, why it happens, what are the effects of corrosion, and different types of corrosion. Okay, in this, before going to the definition of the corrosion, let us see this picture, or let us observe the picture what happens to that material. So we can see that surface of the metal is decayed. And this decay of the metal surface is termed as corrosion. So actually, what happened to that material or what happened to that metal? The destruction of the metal surface takes place. Why? Because this metal is exposed to the environment. So corrosion is nothing but the chemical reaction taking place between the metal surface and the corrosive environment. Okay? So we can define this corrosion as the destruction of metal surface by the chemical interaction of the environment. So corrosion is nothing but the decay of the metal surface when it is exposed to the environment. Fine. What are the effects of corrosion? What happens to that material when it is corroded or when it is exposed to the corrosive environment? Okay. The surface of when the metal is corroded, the surface of the metal, that is the metal, it loses its strength and it loses its surface properties, downtime of the equipment takes place, and reduced values of goods takes place, and because of this corrosion, escape of fluids also happens in some cases. So these are all the effects of corrosion. And let us see some examples where for the corrosion happened in some materials or some places. This is underground corrosion. Electronic components also undergo corrosion. Safety of aircraft. Because in aircraft also the corrosion takes place. And this corrosion is not notified in a proper time, then it will lead to serious problems. So these are some of the examples for corrosion. Okay. Why this metal surface get destructed? Why the decay of metal takes place when it is exposed to the environment? The reason is in all the equipment or material or whatever may be the component, it is made up of a metal, made up of a pure metal, So this pure metal actually it exists in the earth crust, not in the pure form. It exists only in the combined state. That is, it exists in compounds, either as oxides or sulfates or carbonates, etc. So metal, any metal, it is not existing on the earth crust as it is. It is existing only in the combined state. So we are extracting that pure metal from its ore. For example, iron, it is extracted from its ore, hematite, Fe2O3. So Fe2O3 is the stable state of iron. Pure iron is not the stable state; it is unstable state. Okay, fine. So whenever this metal, which is in the unstable state, when it is exposed to the environment and if favorable conditions are there, then the pure metal will try to come to the stable state, that is to its compound. So that conversion of that pure metal into its compound is nothing but corrosion. So extraction of pure metal from its ore is extraction. Conversion of pure metal into its compound is corrosion. Okay. Whether all metals undergo corrosion? Definitely not. Certainly not. Except noble metals, all other metals undergo corrosion. Why noble metals doesn't undergo corrosion? Because just now we have seen that the noble, all the metals exist in the crust as in the combined form, combined state, either oxides or sulfates or carbonates, etc. Gold, whether it exists as oxides or sulfates or carbonates, no. Gold exists on the earth crust as gold itself. Whereas iron, it doesn't exist in the earth crust as iron itself. Aluminium, it doesn't exist on the earth crust as aluminium itself. It exists as Al2O3. It exists in the form of oxide. So, aluminum oxide is the stable state of aluminum. Pure aluminum is in the unstable state, and Al2O3 is the stable state of aluminum. So, metal, why it undergoes corrosion? Because in the pure form it is unstable. So, it tries to come to the stable state the types of corrosion? We have seen the definition for corrosion, and also we have seen why this corrosion happens on the metal surface. Now, what are the different types of corrosion? Basically, there are two types of corrosion depending upon the attack of or the chemical reaction taking place on the metal surface. It is classified into dry corrosion, which is also known as chemical corrosion, and wet corrosion, which is also known as electrochemical corrosion. Dry corrosion is nothing but the attack of metal surface by the atmospheric gases. And wet corrosion is nothing but the attack of metal surface or when the metal is in contact with any conducting liquid. Okay. So we have seen that the corrosion is classified into dry corrosion and wet corrosion. So dry corrosion is mainly due to the attack of atmospheric gases. What are all the gases responsible for the corrosion? So major part of corrosion is often due to the presence of or attack of oxygen. So oxygen is mainly responsible for the corrosion of most metallic substances when compared to other gases. Actually, oxidation takes place when the metal is exposed to the environment. Then other than this oxygen, there are some gases which affect the metal surface or attack the metal surface and lead to corrosion. Other gases like chlorine, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and these are all the gases which attack the metal surface. But the corrosion due to these gases depends upon the affinity of the metal towards these gases. So the extent of corrosion by these gases depends upon the affinity towards the gas. And the last one, liquid metal corrosion. So these are all the different types of corrosion. Well, in this session we have discussed about what is corrosion, and we have seen why the corrosion takes place or what are the reasons for the corrosion, and we have discussed about the different types of corrosion also.